while I'm doing this, well, in the past, some of my coworkers, my union brothers, have raised concerns to management about things they saw on the channel that they didn't think were okay or whatever with work, and so management voiced those concerns back to me, and when I took care of that, they started talking about perceptions and things, and well, that's neither here nor there. I do know that some other members of management there and co-workers watch the channel, and I thank them for that, and they're very supportive. Just again, to just make it clear that at the moment, as I'm filming this, I am on modified duties at work because of my knee trouble, and so I went to see the doctor today, and I'm not going to be doing anything in these videos during this time that are against what I can do at work. So no climbing, no lifting crazy heavy weights, no pulling heavy things, and in particular, no kneeling. So you can see that I have my trusty stool here. I am not going to be kneeling anytime soon, and quite honestly, I didn't need the doctor to tell me that. It's not it's not a pleasant thing to do right now, so I wasn't going to do it anyway. But just to make sure that everything is kind of out in the open here. Tuesday night, and I was due to go to work today, but with my knee being so sore from Saturday still, I took the night off, hopeful that tomorrow it'll feel better enough to at least limp through work. It does feel somewhat better. It's been worse before than this, that's for sure. So hopefully it'll settle down enough to get through. Just our shop is so big, it's so much walking. But you might recognize this little guy here. It's the emulsion tube / main jet out of the FloJet carburetor on that Briggs on the Gilson tractor, and that carburetor still leaks pretty bad, maybe worse than before. It really was pouring out of there at times when I was trying to use the thing the other day. Tried to get it going to blade down some of the slushy frozen snow on the driveway. Didn't work very well. Definitely some hydraulic issues to sort out there too. There's some thought with some of the more knowledgeable Gilson guys that I've come across that it could just be, still kind of airlocked. I don't know how to bleed it, but first, in terms of danger, we gotta take care of that fuel leak. So I mentioned some Teflon washers that can be purchased to go in here, but keyword there is purchased, and I try to do these things as low buck as I can. And I remembered I did have some O-rings kicking around, and these ones are just small enough that I think it might almost be a little too big, but I'm gonna try it on, and we'll see if that solves anything. I don't know, what's funny is that this thing sat for days without leaking, and then after I used it for a little bit, I tried to top up some of the hydraulic transmission fluid, and so I tipped the thing over a little bit on its side. So the carburetor was kind of on the low side, and it just started leaking like crazy. Steady stream right out of the little drain here. And so I thought, well, that must be because I've tipped it over. And then later on, I brought it in again when I was kind of done with it, and it started pouring out of there again. So a little bit perplexing, but hopefully this kind of takes care of things. I don't know. How tight can I go with that? I have no idea. I wish I could see what was going on in there, but not going to happen. So as usual, run this in. Yeah, it's not going in as far, of course, because I think the jet isn't going in as far, but run it in and we'll still do the half, 1.5 turns. And hopefully that won't affect things too much. Put some fuel into the bowl here and see what it does. Good evening, and thanks for watching. I just had this carburetor here, sitting for a couple of days, and if I touch this drain underneath here, what do you know? Fuel. So, if I look down the carburetor throat here, I can see fuel coming from this internal vent here, and if we look really closely, you can see that, sorry, I bumped it, this gasket here is all wet. And really the only explanation for that is if the fuel level in the bowl is too high. Now, if I had X-ray vision, that would be great. I could look inside and see where the level is sitting, but I don't really have that ability. Okay, stop right there. What follows is multiple days of messing around with adjusting the float height and making special tools to pull the valve seat out and taking 20 thou off the valve seat so it sits closer to the float, and lapping the valve seat and all these different things, and it still leaks fuel out of the bowl. Is it a float height adjustment issue? Is it the float not floating? Is the needle valve not needling? I just don't know. So I pondered this for a while, and then I realized that when you need an X-ray, who do you call? The doctor. So here is our X-ray carburetor. I have made a small concession to put a little wire here just to support the float, because without anything to support it, in this case, it can drop much further than it can when it's actually in the carburetor. Other than that, just a little line, I've got a little reservoir up here to add fuel to, and it's going to come down just as it would out of a fuel tank, and we will see what happens. I'm actually using gasoline because it has a different flowability from, say, water or something like that. You can clearly see the float is floating, and it doesn't appear like it's putting any more fuel through the valve. All experiments have an element of time, and this one's no different. So I've made this lower mark, as you can see, at 12:36. It's now 15 minutes later. You can see where the upper mark is. So indeed, this float is leaking fuel past the valve. Obviously the float is actually going up and down, so the problem lies in the needle valve somewhere. I'm going to have to figure that one out. I got my rental vehicle. It's a Jeep Compass Trailhawk. It's not a bad little unit, but driving a Patriot for so many years, this being the replacement for the Patriot, I might have some interesting insights. I honestly don't think this would be on my shopping list to replace Wee Beastie 2 when it finally dies, but I can't say that wholeheartedly, but I don't think it'd be on the list. I hope you guys love me for this. I did promise it, so I'm gonna do it, but we'll do a little walk around of the underhood and exterior whatnot of this. I think it's a 2022 Jeep Compass Trailhawk. My rental unit does go back probably on Monday, I think, as the flex is ready. So I better do this, even though tonight at work my left knee decided to act up. It does that periodically. You know, 2 surgeries didn't fix it, so it's just something that I live with. Even though it hurts to walk and whatever, we'll get this done. So I was really surprised to open the hood. 2.4 liter multi-air, which I knew it was the 2.4. And if I'm not mistaken, it is rated 172 horsepower, same as the Patriot. But the layout under here is almost flipped. Still transmission down on this side, if I'm not mistaken. Still belt drive down here. But exhaust manifold has moved to the front versus the Patriot, which comes off the back, so they've reversed the flow. Air filter over here looks to be, they've gone back to a panel style, I'm thinking, where on my Patriot, the Gen 2 Patriots as they call them, has the air filter located over here, and it's a round one. The battery on a Patriot is kind of up here, and the coolant overflow is over there. And the computer's in roughly the same spot, but over here you'd have the battery up here on a Patriot and the air filter about here. So, and washer bottle again would be over there next to the coolant overflow, which has caused some issues in the past in my life. Not so much with my vehicle, but my mother-in-law has a Patriot, and somebody helped her out and didn't go well. So, really long intake tube to go over there to the throttle body. You know, coil unplug, nothing amazing here, but the oil fill cap on a Patriot is on this side. So, yeah, it's just all just that little bit different. I was under the impression that this 2.4 multi-air was largely based off of the Jima Global Engine Manufacturing Alliance 2.4 that's shared with Hyundai and Mitsubishi, and of course Kia. If it's revised, it's very heavily revised. Being a Trailhawk, we have some red tow hooks. I don't know how seriously I'd go off-roading with this thing, but it is trail rated. This has been fitted with winter tires. They are 215 6517. That's Patriot comes with in the off-road package, the Freedom Drive 2, which I don't have on mine, but I've gone with 225 6517s. Back here, I do like the taillight design. It's pretty cool with these backup lights and stuff. It's a good looking machine, I'll give it that. Trailhawk badge, of course. In the back, no power lift gate here, just a regular lift gate. So typical Compass, just like the earlier Compass with the cut-off back edge, really cuts into cargo space compared to a Patriot. Patriot can absorb huge amounts of cargo for its size, but it has touches I like. I like that it's got a 12-volt outlet back here. The lights are nice as opposed to the Patriots. Particularly the early ones had a dome light here. Mine does too, but previous to 2014 they had a built-in flashlight that really didn't work. It generally fell out, didn't charge. So in 2015 it became just a fixed light. And got the blanket and stuff here still from the ice race, but underneath here, probably nothing overly remarkable. Fancy little handle, got a spare tire. Looks like, yeah, a full-size spare, which is nice, probably because it's a Trailhawk. Some more little random storage compartments. Interesting. Who had this before me that they had a zip cut disc? Thank you. I'll take that. Little screwdriver. I don't know what you're going to use that for, but, that's cool. I do like the little storage compartments on either side. So that's pretty nice. They have little, ooh, there's a Jeep grill up there, and you got over here your Ogopogo, which he's upside down right now, and I don't really know the meaning of this. It's got like a 5 in like quotation marks. I don't really know what the deal is there with that, but if you know, let me, pass it on, put it in the comments maybe or something. Yeah, another tow hook back there because Trailhawk. No tow package on this thing. I am going to look up the retail price on this unit out of curiosity. I've kind of built and priced them before and they're fairly pricey, but, overall, it's a pretty nice little rig. I don't mind it at all. I'd drive it. Being a Trailhawk, it does have this matte black vinyl hood decal. Of course, it's very dirty right now, but it did occur to me how cool this would look with the Shopcat logo, in white in body color right there, or even cut out of the vinyl, although that'd be a lot harder, but, just overlaid in white. That looked pretty good. Pause there and go in and rest and maybe have a little whiskey, and hopefully this knee will feel better. All right, good night.